So you've been Nuzlocking for a while, or maybe you just started and wish to get better. I'll explain to you 10 steps on how to become a better Nuzlocker. This guide will be for players that regularly plays with a hardcore rule set, which means putting your game on set mode, not using battle items in battle, and use a level cap to restrict you from overleveling the next gym leader, Elite 4, or if you feel for an extra hard challenge, boss and rival fights too. The fun part about the hardcore rule set is that a lot of the moves that you never had to use, like Synthesis, Recover, or Rest, now becomes very viable since you're not spamming full restores. That to be said, this is more of an advanced Nuzlocke guide. If you're less experienced with Pokemon, or Nuzlocks in general, I recommend checking out my first Nuzlocke guide, which is suited for beginners. But who knows, this might be super helpful on your journey as well. Tip number 1. Pivoting and reading the AI. A good pivot is the most rewarding thing to do during Nuzlocke, if done correctly. In this example of what a pivot is, I'm going to showcase how a 2-switch pivot works. Here I'm going up against Gardenia in Renegade Planet. After I've just taken down her ace, Roserade. She then switches into Tangela, which has a moveset consisting of Grass Knot, Ancient Power, Shockwave, and Stun Spore. I know that if I use Aerial Ace on Crobat, I will only be able to kill it with a crit. This is a high level AI that will always go for a killing blow, if it sees it. In this situation, Shockwave or Ancient Power. I then switch into Donphan to take the Shockwave. I switch again into Masquerade this time to take the Grass Knot instead of dealing with the Shockwave. This is called a 2-switch pivot, to get a cleaner switch and keep your Pokemon healthy. Tip number 2. Diversity of types in the team and diversity of roles. In many playthroughs, you just love to pick the best Pokemon possible into your party, but the strongest party isn't always the strongest team. When playing blind, personally, I like to bring one of each role. One special attacker, one defensive tank, and one special defensive tank, to be able to deal with whatever unknown dangers there is. But in some situations, you have to bring a more planned team, like in Pokemon Emerald's Elite 4, where 4 out of 5 trainers specializes in special attacking types. Therefore, it's smart to bring 2 specially defensive Pokemon like Tentacruel and Melodic to resist what is to come. Tip number 3. Combine your team's strength. During Nuzlocke, you most of the time will think that individual Pokemon are strong or not, but you will come across Pokemon that can learn moves and have abilities that can affect your whole team, that can create synergy between your Pokemon. A strong example of this is while having a Drought Ninetales causing the strong sunlight complementing Venusaur's chlorophyll ability, making Venusaur faster. Another example of this is having a Pokemon with the Drizzle ability to complement another Swift Swim ability. I also want to point out leading with the Pokemon with the Drought ability could be a really strong start against water types, and Drizzle against fire types. There is also Pokemon that generally goes well together. A good example of this is the synergy between Gyarados and the Geodude line. When having Gyarados in against an electric or rock type, you can easily bait a move switching into Golem. While having a Golem in the battle going up against the grass or water type, you can easily switch into Gyarados. Try out different combinations of Pokemon that can cover each other's weaknesses. Tip number 4. Important moves. The 3 best moves in any Nuzlocke in my experience is Double Team, Minimize, and Encore. If you learn how to set it up correctly, you'll probably ban it in any game. Other important moves are for example Priority moves, Fake Out, Mach Punch, and even Quick Attack, and also draining moves like Giga Drain and Drain Punch are very solid because of its sustain. Charm and Captivate is also on the list, but it's very dangerous to set up against Pokemon that has moves with high crit chances like Night Slash or Karate Chop, which is very common. Tip number 5. Always be aware of abilities. If you have a Tyranitar, it's a great individual Pokemon, but could ruin a lot for your other team members. That doesn't benefit its Sandstream ability, taking damage from the Sandstorm that rages. Therefore, it's important to either finish things off with Tyranitar, or having team members that either gains advantage of the Sandstorm being up, or clears it away. It's also very easy to get too focused on your Pokemon abilities, but an important fact is that you have to be aware of your opponent's ability too. The most regular mistake is to forget about your rival starter's ability, which is either Overgrow, Blaze, or Taunt, which could quickly kill off one of your Pokemon if his health is low enough. Other than that, you'll find a lot of Pokemon with Sturdy, Guts, Levitate, Inner Focus, and other abilities that grants immunities to your Pokemon. Tip number 6. Keep your key Pokemon healthy. The best choice might not be the best choice in the long run. In the planning phase, you often will come across one of your Pokemon being the perfect counter for one of the opponent's threats. But a mistake often done in Nuzlocks is if this Pokemon is used earlier in the battle and is not healthy enough to take down the threat it was supposed to do by its own. The solution is to find another Pokemon to answer another threat earlier in the battle, or create a plan B for the original threat. Tip number 7. Always prioritize having speed control in your team. A fast Pokemon in your team can potentially save your run. Another great way of dealing with speed control is by having a Pokemon with Static, Thunder Wave, or a speed lowering move like Scary Face in case you're going up against a fast opponent. When an opponent has a Pokemon with Dragon Dance, situations often can turn really badly. The best way to deal with it is to either paralyze the Pokemon or have a Pokemon that has the ability to charm it down 2 stages in attack. The third way to deal with speed is by having priority moves. If your Pokemon doesn't have the Technician ability, it isn't the best type of speed control, but has the potential to save your run. Tip number 8. Manipulating the AI. Sometimes the gym leader's ace comes in at the worst time. Your team is low after taking on the other gym leader's Pokemon, and then he or she brings in the best Pokemon. But there is ways to make the gym leaders send in their ace way earlier than they should by manipulating them. In the example I'm going to show now is how I'm going to manipulate an AI to switch in a Pokemon earlier by taking on Winona in Pokemon Emerald. Her team in order is Swablu, Tropius, Pelipper, Skarmory, and then in the end, Altaria. The thing is that she will always prioritize to switch in a Pokemon that has a super effective move against mine. And in this case, with me having a Magneton as a lead, it's Altaria's Earthquake. So instead of Altaria coming in last when my team is low after taking on her past 4 Pokemon, I can deal with this as the second Pokemon instead. What my plan was in this clip was to pivot into Weezing, who has Levitate avoiding Earthquake, potentially Smoke Screening, then Haze, and then switch into Seeking to finish it off with 2 Ice Beams. Another example of a good AI manipulation is if you are able to manipulate Candace's Frostlass in Pokemon Platinum to come out before Abomasnow, so you are able to avoid the Snow Warning plus Snow Cloak combo. Tip number 9. EVs and IVs. If you are one of the more patient types, then I would heavily grind EVs for your Pokemon in one of the lower level routes, which can give you a lot of value. The difference between a Pokemon with and without trained effort values is very different. Your Pokemon is now able to tank more hits and kill Pokemon faster. There is a whole list on how much effort values different Pokemon gives to your Pokemon by taking it down. Effort values are so strong that there is now customly made games that has removed EVs from the games. That makes your Pokemon against the opponents completely even. Then your stats depends on natures and IVs. These are values that are pre-decided and cannot be changed. These could also be the difference of an opponent's Pokemon fainting or living on 1 HP. So the more you rush things, the more chance there is to slip up. So in my eyes, it's better to spend 15 minutes planning or grinding for a fight rather than going into the fight early and spending 3 to 4 hours grinding up to the point where you were again, and then have to grind up 15 minutes there again, right? So thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Consider subscribing if you haven't, and of course, good luck on your Nuzlocke journey.